it looks like a clay diorama come to life, honestly. There's a beautiful... Sorry, I had to break the pot. It's over now.
He's just chowing down on those bananas.
I know. But I love this beautiful tilt-shift visual effect we've got going. There's kind of an ethereal haze off on the corners of the screen. So it's just a really lovely reimagining of this classic game. And since we're lucky enough to have Aonuma-san here, I was hoping perhaps you could tell us a little bit about the creation of this art style and why it was chosen to reimagine Koholint Island.
本作でこのようなアートスタイルを選んだ理由などを説明していただけますでしょうか。
このゲームのオリジナルは実は私がまだゼルダを作る前のねゲームなので、私はこのゲームは本当に一ユーザーとして純粋に楽しんだんですよ。
And so, actually, this game, I wasn't actually involved in creating it. I was just a player playing this game.
で、その当時ね、ゲームボーイで遊んでるわけですけど、このゲームボーイの小さなこの画面からその下にこう広い世界が広がってるみたいな、そんなイメージでずっと遊んでたんですけど、その感覚を生かす形でチルトシフトって言ってね、画面の上と下にこうちょっとボケが発生してますけど、ちょうどそのミニチュアのジオラマの世界を覗いてるみたいな、そんな感じのイメージになるように、グラフィックを考えてみました。
And so when I played it on the original Game Boy version, it was on this small screen, and it felt like a small world, but very vast as well. And so it was kind of had this tilt shift perspective. And so that's why I thought this miniature diorama-like art style would be perfect for this game.
It really is the perfect way to bring this world to life. And I didn't mean it. I'm sorry, much. I didn't mean that. I only mean to hit Kukos. So
don't do that either.
I disagree. We hard disagree on that point. So I'm going into the Chindi game shop here, and even fans who played the original game are going to notice a little bit of a difference here because there are actual real crane physics going on here. So I'm going to try my best to get this Yoshi figure, but it's pretty difficult with the crane.
Yeah, the crane physics make this a lot more fun, I think.
And speaking of Yoshi...
It's looking good.
Oh, I might...
Oh, yeah.
Am I going to pull it off?
It's looking pretty good. Oh, no.
No, it slipped out.
That was so close.
So close.
I know. But speaking of Yoshi, that's not a face that you usually see in Zelda games. So since we have Dan here who worked on the original localization of the game, perhaps you could just really quickly... I want to ask Dan what it was like to see a Mario face in a Zelda game for the first time.
Well, I was surprised as anyone. I think the team was trying to create sort of an otherworldly atmosphere and bringing in some things that would make people kind of wonder, what's going on here. Yeah. And I think that adds to the mystery of the story and is really like a great feature of this game. And I think really makes it feel like a different world.
Yeah. Absolutely. It really does. And like we said, this is a true... I'm going to try and get that heart one more time. I won't make people watch me fail over and over again.
You got plenty of rupees.
I do.
Just keep going.
But this really is a truly classic Zelda game brought to life. So I was hoping Aonuma-san could tell us what it was like returning to a more traditional Zelda game after working on The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild.
ブレス・オブ・ザ・ワイルドが完成した今、またこういった伝統的なゼルダに戻ることについてお話しいただけますでしょうか。
このゲームも26年前に作られたゲームなんで、もう今やなかなかそれを遊べる機会も減ってきてたんで、いつかはリメイクしたいなっていうふうには思ってたんですよ。
And so the original Game Boy version was released 26 years ago, so it's a little bit hard to get your hands on the original game. So I've always wanted to remake this title.
And we're so very glad that he did.
Yeah.
I talked to a guy down.
じゃあなぜ今なのかっていうことなんですけど、やっぱりそのゼルダの今までの伝統的な遊びをこう変化させて生まれ変わったブレス・オブ・ザ・ワイルドを多くの人に遊んでもらって、今だからこそこういうねまた伝統的なゼルダのゲームも新鮮に楽しんでもらえるんじゃないかなと思って今リメイクすることにしたんです。
And so why now, you might ask? It's just because we thought, well, Breath of the Wild broke the convention of Zelda, and now because a lot of people have played Breath of the Wild, they could go back to something a more traditional Zelda like Link's Awakening, and we hope that this gameplay will be fresh for people.
It absolutely feels brand new. I've played Link's Awakening probably a million times, but this feels like a brand new game. It's absolutely delightful. And so now that I somehow managed to get that Yoshi doll out of that crane game, I'm going to chop all the grass in the world. No, I'm not really. This Yoshi doll is actually a part of a pretty vast trading quest in this game. So I'm going to go into this house, which I love looking around. There's so many little details in this house. There's like a chopped up piece of fruit on that cutting board, all those little beds in a row.
I love how they're all bunched up together. I suppose if you want to get into the one at the very end, you have to get in the first one and just roll all the way over.
Absolutely. So before I do this lady a favor, I didn't mean to throw that at her baby.
She's holding a baby.
I didn't mean to throw that at her baby, but I'm doing her a solid here, so it's fine. Gonna break her pots, throw things at her baby, and then give her a Yoshi doll.
Okay, fair trade, I suppose.
Absolutely. And so in exchange for that, I got a ribbon, and then I can exchange the ribbon with someone else in this world. So everybody wins.
So I know that Audrey touched on it a little bit earlier with Dan, but Dan, you did work on the original localization for this title. Yeah, and this world is filled with all kinds of different charming and quirky characters. And I was wondering if you had any particular favorite.
It's really hard to pick a favorite because there's so many. I was trying to think of a good answer for this, and the only one I could remember was that alligator named Sail.
Oh,
Yeah.
To sell you things.
Right?
I don't know why he stuck in my mind, but I just thought it was very funny that there was an alligator named Sail who would sell you things. But I'm curious what Aonuma-san's favorite characters are again.
青沼さんの一番好きなキャラクターは誰でしょうか？
はい、そこに今画面にいますけどワンワンっていうねマリオに出てくるキャラクターですけど本当にネタバレになっちゃうんであんまり言えないですけどすごい活躍をしてくれてもう僕はずっとこのワンワンと一緒にいたかったぐらいです。
And so, as you can see on the screen, my favorite character is Bow Wow. You know, he's kind of a maybe familiar face from the Mario series. And I won't go into too much detail because I don't want to go spoiling everything. But, you know, I honestly hope that I could travel the whole world with Bow Wow.
That's a solid choice. And look, there's a little baby one.
Oh, yeah.
Adorable. And so my favorite character is actually Marin, and I'm going to go and talk to her right now. The story actually, again, we're not going to spoil anything, but Link is shipwrecked on this island, and Marin actually rescues him. And so then he has to go and try and find a way off of this seemingly inescapable island by finding the 8 instruments of the sirens and awakening the windfish. And Marin here is singing one of my all-time favorite songs, Ballad of the Windfish. It's an original song from this game. It's absolutely heartbreakingly gorgeous.
It's hard not to get emotional listening to it.
It really is. I'm not going to tear up. I promised myself I wouldn't, but it's really beautiful. I have to go ahead and grab this Kuko just to lighten the mood so I don't cry. But
all of the music
to the segment.
yes, Zelda's known for its music, and this game is no exception. The music, the sound design, everything is just expertly done, as all Zelda games are. And so one other thing I want to do here is I'm going to jump in a well, because that seems to me like a good idea.
Don't try this at home.
Yeah.
So there I go. And my brilliant plan paid off.
Yeah, in this case, you're rewarded for it.
Yes. Don't try this at home, kiddos. So we already asked about your favorite character, Aonuma-san, but there's so much to love about this game. Could you tell us what your favorite thing about this game is?
さっきこの今作で好きなキャラの話していただきましたけど、今作で青沼さんが好きなことは何でしょうか？
このゲームね、2D マリオのプロデューサーの手塚が作ったっていうこともあって、さっき言ったワンワンとかマリオのキャラクターがすごくいろんなところに出てくるんですね。
So, as many of you may know, Mr. Tezuka was involved in creating Link's Awakening, and so, as like characters like Bow Wow, you see Mario characters that usually aren't in the Zelda series.
であとダンジョンに横スクロールの画面が出てきたりとか、今までというかこの後もそうなんですけど、ゼルダにない要素がたくさん入っているとっても異色作なんですよ。
And so, a lot of the dungeons even have side-scrolling stages, which is again not very something you see often in the Zelda series.
あとキャラクターもすごく個性的で、まあ、ちょっとコミカルなんですけど、でもこうじんわりとこう感動させられるようなシーンもあったりして、その世界観がすごく好きで、私はこの後ゼルダを作っていくことになりますけど、この作品には随分影響を受けたように思います。
And so the characters also are very memorable. They're lively, they're comical, but they also bring tears to your eyes, you know. And so a lot of that influenced what I had to do when I was developing Zelda going forward.
Absolutely. And you may have seen a second ago, I was using my shield. I want to point out that a huge UI improvement of this game is that your sword, shield, things like your power bracelet, Pegasus boots are always equipped, which is a huge improvement on the original because that frees up your Y and X button for whatever else you want to equip, and it just makes things a lot easier. And that's one of the things I really love about this version of the game is that it retains the classic feel and personality of the original, but with the just perfectly refined UI of modern Zelda games, which is really, really cool to see. And one last thing I'm going to point out here in Maybe Village is we see Dampe's shack mentioned on this sign. And that's kind of interesting because Dampe was not originally in this game.
Yeah.
And what is he doing in this game? I'm not going to tell you, but we're going to tell you a little bit later in this segment. Just a little bit of a tease. But I think I've explored Maybe Village enough, and I'm going to go ahead and show us a little something else.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Full of secrets on this day.
Yeah, this is awesome.
Yeah, we're very, very excited to announce that the Color Dungeon is indeed in this version of the game. The Color Dungeon was first introduced in the DX version from the Game Boy Color, and this is the complete version of this. So, as I said, we're very, very happy to confirm that the Color Dungeon is in this game.
Right. Color maybe not quite as novel as it was on the Game Boy Color, but still really neat to see that all of the content of that DX version is represented here.
Absolutely. And as you can see, these camo goblins kind of sink into the ground in their various colors. And as you can see, I'm going to break
You
the
have to break pots.
I'm sorry.
Because we're playing a Zelda game.
Thank you for your patience, Aonuma-san, while I break all these pots. So this is a puzzle. I'm not going to go too far into this dungeon. I don't want to spoil it for everybody, but basically you hit these switches and it changes the switches next to them. I've played this about 1 billion times, so I know what I'm doing here.
You know what to do here.
Yes. And I'm not going to go too much farther, but I would be remiss as a Zelda fan if I let this clearly bombable wall pass me up.
Right.
So it's got cracks in it. It makes a different sound when you hit it with your sword. It's begging to be bombed. So I'm going to go ahead and do it justice.
Oblige.
Boom. And I'm rewarded with a room full of rupees, which is one of the best things in the world.
Please collect them all.
Let's be honest. I'm going to get them all.
Okay. Thank you.
We can go about our business. Da-na-na-na. I'll stop being a nerd now and just get the rest of the rupees. All right, and that was all I'm going to show you of the Color Dungeon. As I said, it's just kind of a sneak peek, and now we're going to show you something that's brand new to the game.
But there was a new little bit that was added to The Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening for Nintendo Switch. So just as the Color Dungeon was brand new content for the DX version, what we've got here for the Nintendo Switch version is called the Chamber Dungeon. And just to give you an idea of where we are in the world here, we're in Taltal Heights, and we're just slightly to the east here of this Moblin hideout. We see this new location. And this is something that DX players might recognize as being the camera HUD, but in this game, it's something brand new.
It looks like a shack.
Yeah, it looks a little bit like a shack, and it's filled with our friend Dampe here.
He was looking for an adventuring assistant, too.
Right,
Yes.
yeah. So this is something that I actually wanted to ask Aonuma-san about the introduction of Dampe into the world of Link's Awakening. He wasn't originally here on Koholint Island, so would you like to talk a little bit about what he's doing here and about maybe some of the inspiration behind the Chamber Dungeon?
断片の紹介とあとパネルダンジョンについてお話しいただけますでしょうか。
このダンペイさんって、時のオカリナから出てきてるキャラクターで、 墓守の設定の人なんですけど、今回その人に新しく登場してもらって、そこでパネルダンジョンという新しい遊びを体験してもらおうと思います。
And so many of you may know Dompe was maybe in, I think, Ocarina of Time, and he was a gravekeeper there. But in this game, he's going to be the one that introduces you to the new game called Panel Dungeons, or Chamber Dungeons.
パネルダンジョンというのはそこまでクリアしてきたダンジョンの一部屋をパズルの、ピースのようなパネルにしてですね、それを並べることで実際のそのダンジョンがアレンジできるっていう、そういう遊びで、そのお題をですねこのダンペイさんが出してくれるっていう、そういう遊びになってます。
And so what are chamber dungeons? So they are where you can create your own dungeons. If you complete a dungeon, you get pieces that for each room that you cleared, and you could rearrange them to make your own dungeon. And so Dompe will be the one that introduces you to challenges in creating chamber dungeons.
でダンジョンもね、ユーザーが自分でアレンジできるって遊びは前からゼルダに入れてみたいなってずっと思ってたんですけど、誰もができるようにするために難しいこと考えなくてもできるパズルを解くような感覚でやるとそれを解くとダンジョンができるっていうね、そういう遊びにしました。
And so I've always wanted to create a way for players to create their own dungeon, but I didn't want to make it anything too hard. So just like a puzzle or solving a puzzle, I wanted to make this chamber dungeon easy enough for people to play and feel like they're solving a puzzle.
Yeah, that's right. And you can see here, so I've started a little bit of a dungeon arrangement here. And the way these chambers are arranged, up at the top here, they're categorized in depending on how many doorways they have. So you can see here, these are all chambers that have one doorway. These are all chambers that have two, etc. And then you can see they're further categorized into where the doorways are exiting out of the chambers. So a few things about dungeon arrangement in the chamber dungeon. You'll need to make sure that you have at least an entrance and a nightmare. Those are kind of the primary components of any dungeon. But also you'll want to make sure that all of the doorways are connected to other doorways. So you can't leave any of those just hanging or unfulfilled there. So you can see I'm starting to make a little bit of a dungeon arrangement here. And you might notice a few other things. So some of these chambers have icons on the underneath of them, and those give you an idea of the sorts of features that are available in this particular chamber. So you can see this one has a treasure chest, and this one has a staircase, and some of them have locked doors. If you're using locked doors, you need to make sure that you include enough chambers with treasure chests to supply enough keys for you to get through all of those locked doors. And the way those stairways connect is really fun, because what you can do is if you use stairways, they'll automatically create a sub area that you'll have to go through between the two stairways. And that's one of those 2D side-scrolling sections that Anuma-san was talking about a little bit earlier. And you might see some fun enemies in there. But so this is like a Picross-like puzzle. So the chamber dungeon, unlike any other dungeon before, you arrange these yourself. But they're challenges. You have to go through this puzzle portion of the arrangement. And once you're finished with that, then you have to adventure through your dungeon. So the challenge comes in two parts. The chamber dungeon can actually take a little bit of time to arrange. Like I said, it is a puzzle, so it takes some time to get through. So I'm not gonna go through the entire thing just here. So I'm gonna skip ahead to one that I have arranged previously. If it works.
And you're very, very devious, so I'm sure that it's full of all kinds of terrible, awful things.
I seem to have a little bit of issue with the controller here. Let me try and get that sorted out.
I don't know if everybody remembers exactly how to play everything.
でこのパネルダンジョンってそのパズルを解く形で、ダンジョンをアレンジするっていうお話をしましたけど、そこまで遊んできたダンジョンの記憶をもとにそれでダンジョンをアレンジするとですね、またちょっと面白いダンジョンが作れるんで、これを本編のダンジョンをクリアしながらこれをパネルダンジョンも遊んでいくと、そのダンジョンの記憶っていうのはすごく強く残るものになるんじゃないかなと思ってます。
And so, as I mentioned earlier, this is just like figuring out a puzzle. So, if you go back to your memories of how you completed the dungeon and then play this dungeon as well, I think it'll leave a very strong impression while you play. And also, if you play this while you progress the main story, I think it'll even leave a stronger impression.
All right, so we've got this up here now, and you could see now that there's a little green check mark there next to the Fill Up Your Hearts challenge. Oh, I guess I should have explained that. This particular challenge, you needed to fill in every single one of the empty tiles with a chamber. And so this one I've already completed. You could see I've cleared it. And when you complete it, you get a clear time. And you'll see that that's 7 minutes and 42 seconds right now. And one of the fun things that you can do with those clear times is you can challenge yourself to beat your dungeon faster and faster. Or you could challenge a friend to see if they might be able to beat your dungeon in a faster time. So I was wondering if Anuma-san, would you please play through this dungeon and see if you could please beat my clear time?
アナさんに遊んでいただけるでしょうか。そして僕のタイムを早くクリアでしていただきたいんですけども。
えらいことをお願いされてしまったな。
That's a big ask, but I'll do my best.
私ゲーム開発者ですけど非常にゲームが下手くそなんで。
So I'm a game developer, but I'm not very good at games.
まあでもとりあえずチャレンジしてみます。
But I'll do my best.
This is a great, rare treat for all of us.
Yeah. Ainuma-san, of course, has spent, I'm sure, many, many years thinking about the dungeon arrangement and the flow of a player's movements through a dungeon and about pacing the puzzles properly. So I'm really curious to see how he's going to get on with this dungeon where I've thought about none of those
how much
things.
time have you spent thinking about those things, Sam?
This was designed to torture other Treehouse members.
Yeah, apologies. I admittedly, I did include some more devious elements here. Yeah, using the map is really an effective way to get through this particular dungeon.
待ってますからまずこういってここまで宝箱を開けるっていうのがいい感じですね。
So I'm gonna go through that route and try to get that key over there where you saw the cursor hovering.
Okay. He's calling his shots. I
He's
like
being
it.
strategic. I like
Yeah,
this.
Yeah, these guys could be really challenging.
Yeah.
They're more like a timing puzzle almost.
Yeah.
Trying to defeat them.
And as you mentioned, since it times your completion, it's a real fun and terrible treat to try and best your friend's time beating a dungeon.
He's doing really well
really
so far.
well.
So yeah, I said I think my clear time again was like 7 minutes 42 seconds. So he's on a really good pace right now.
Already got another key.
But this is almost like a randomizer of sorts. So these are all familiar rooms. So you've seen these rooms in other dungeons. And Dompe will create these chambers for you. And even though you know the puzzle, you may know the way through it, because they're all arranged in a completely different order, it's a new type of challenge.
Yes, and that really adds someone, even if you're somebody who has memorized every corner of this game, all of those dungeons, those rooms become brand new when you or a friend has arranged them into something completely different.
Right. Quickly dispatching all of those keys and finding yet another treasure chest.
This isn't his
only-
first Zelda rodeo.
Yeah, apparently not. I think it's really funny, Anum-san, that...
Oh, he knew about your devious tricks, Sam.
Yeah, okay. I love using those spinning blades because usually when you walk into a room in Zelda, you're thinking about, okay, what kind of puzzle am I going to face here? Am I going to have a challenging enemy that I'm going to need to battle? But with those spinning blades, the challenge really is just walking into the room.
Really can shake your confidence.
Using the
I'm gonna
map
check
again.
the map again.
Yeah.
じゃあこっちに行って。
Yeah, I was saying earlier, I think it's really funny that
More.
Anuma-san has Rock's feather on Y because the
correct answer, Sam.
Yeah. Oh, really? Well, in Breath of the Wild, the jump button was X, so I always put Rock's feather on X.
そうなんです。トラップはジャンプで受けれるんですけど、結構失敗するんです。
So you could, avoid that enemy with jumping, but you know what? Sometimes you fail. So.
Yeah. He's making really great time through this dungeon.
Yeah, they're just pushing those enemies off the edge.
Right.
Get out of here.
He might just beat your time, Sam.
I'm thinking that's going to happen. So the chamber. Ooh. Yeah, this room is a little bit challenging. So yeah, those chamber dungeon challenges come in 2 parts, and you're going to have different conditions that you need to fill for those challenges, for both the arrangement portion of the challenge, but also through the adventure portion of the challenge. Oh, nice. Already. My goodness.
He's only at 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Do you see that?
I am. I'm kind of awestruck. I don't know how. Oh no! All right, you've got it. There you go.
He's trying to make your time feel better, Sam.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Oh yeah, he's just delaying to try and make me feel better.
Oh, he's already at the boss.
Yeah, he's already at the
So we're at the
nightmare.
boss now.
And this is a really fun one.
Yeah.
I like this guy.
Yeah, this isn't your kind of standard hit him 3 times and you're done kind of boss.
Yeah, as we briefly mentioned, so all of the characters, the bosses, the NPCs in this game are so unforgettable,
Right.
so quirky.
I like how they kind of talk to you.
Yeah.
He's giving you a little clue about what to do here.
これでも
Got a
僕
bit of
解
an
くと
attitude on
ネ
that
タバレ
one.
になってしまうんだけど
But if I beat him, wouldn't it be a spoiler? Are we okay?
It's this is only for the boss of the second dungeon in the game, so I think maybe it's still early.
まあ2番目のダンジョンなんで、まあ大丈夫なんで。
He's making quick
But yeah,
work
he's
of
making
him,
really
too.
quick work of it. But I really like the sequence. He's using a technique, actually, that I've never seen before. He's staying really close to the boss and then getting under the fireballs, which is not something that I've seen before.
No, I think the normal strategy is to get hit by lots of fireballs.
Right.
Yeah, that may be different from the original game too, 'cause this has more of a 3D feel to it. I don't
Right.
know.
No, that's
I
true.
can tell you for sure. It's been 26
Oh,
years.
and
after
he's in the second phase.
Oh.
Nice. Oh, I didn't know you could hit multiple times there.
Am I doing pretty well?
He's doing great.
Well.
すっごくうまいです。
I think you're making him angry though.
Yeah, at
Got
this rate,
this. He's gonna laugh at you, I think.
I was gonna say at this rate he's gonna shave 4 minutes off my time.
Got
Goodness
him.
gracious!
Wow. And that's how you do that.
Nice work.
Yeah.
Nice work.
That's
right.
And a new record.
50.
Yeah.
Yes.
Completely
Good job.
obliterating my dungeon clear time. Thank you so much for
You did
playing
too.
through that.